For those of you who don't know me personally, I am a big fan of horror films. I've basically grown up watching them. I enjoy many of the classics from before my time, and I will continue to enjoy them. What I do not enjoy is needless remakes of old classic horror films. There have been a few cases of this over the last few years, and frankly, it's starting to upset me. Now, there can be good remakes of horror films. The two that pop into my mind at the moment are John Carpenter's The Thing and the most recent remake of Dawn of the Dead. These two were actually good horror film remakes, and if you haven't seen them, I suggest you do. This film is not one of those good remakes. If any of you have seen the original Friday the 13th, or the second or the third, what these filmmakers have done is combine the plots from the first three films and made it into one. You now have an abridged version of the first three films, except set in our current time period instead of being set back then. Does that make for a good horror film? My response is no. There were many people in the theater whose answer would be yes. However, I like to think that these people have not seen the first three Jason films. So, the big thing I can say about this film is that it is a Friday the 13th for a new generation. For people who have not seen Friday the 13th films before. Whose parents have seen it and said, hey, this movie's being remade. Go ahead out and watch it. What I would say to those parents is, make them watch the first three films. Those are classics, and anyone can watch them. So, what we have in the first 15-20 minutes of this film is the plot of the first Friday the 13th shortened, where we're explained about Jason, his mother going around Camp Crystal Lake, blah de blah. We're introduced to the kids who go out and drink, smoke marijuana, have premarital sex, all the typical slasher stuff. And then, of course, Jason just comes out and beats the living hell out of them. If the film had stopped there, I actually wouldn't have been that upset. I actually would have been like, okay, good movie, because it's basically they just said, okay, we're just gonna remake the first film. But they proceed into the second and third films in the series and just remake those as well. And I didn't enjoy that. So we basically get more of the same stuff. Drinking, smoking marijuana, premarital sex. Jason comes in and beats the hell out of him. I know that Jason has basically been the same character and has done the same stuff for the last 25-30 years. However, can't you do something new with him? I'm not telling you to put him on the screen and make him dance around. No, I mean, like, do something new with the guy. When film companies remade The Thing and Dawn of the Dead, they didn't reshoot the original film scene for scene, word for word. They actually were inventive. They actually changed things around a bit. And I think that is why they stuck in the minds of horror fans. This film does none of those things. It does not reinvent itself. It does not change itself. It doesn't make any new moves from the old series. So how can we like it? If you've seen any of the past Jason films, you have seen this. If I wanted to watch this, I basically could have just gone out and rented Friday the 13th 1, 2, and 3 for probably cheaper than I could have gotten a ticket at the theater and gotten the exact same experience. So, final rating. I'm really tempted to give this movie a bad rating. However, it's not a bad movie. It's just not needed. We've seen this movie before. In fact, we've seen it 3 times before. However, I think that this is a good way to get a younger audience back into the series. I think that if it can, spark interest in some of the older films, I think that's a good thing. So, I am going to give this movie 2.5 stars. I think if you have seen these films before, if you are a fan of this series, this film's worth a rental, because you've seen all this before. There's nothing new here. However, if you have not seen these movies before, if you are new to this series, this may be worth a matinee. It's worth checking out while it's in the theaters. So, to all of you Friday the 13th fans out there, I hate to say it, but it appears as though you're going to have to stick with films 1 through 11. Is it 11 or 12? God, damn it. Oh, Christ, now I've got to go look that up. Alright. Well, take care.